Well, good evening, everybody. It is 10:09 p.m. here on the west coast of the United States. It would be 8:09 p.m. in Hawaii, I believe. Maybe 7:09. Is it 7, Chris? Are they 3 hours or 2 hours?
I think 3 hours, but
I think 3. So
I think
7:09 in
so.
Hawaii. People are still partying there. They haven't even gotten there. And right on cue, Big B joining us. Big B, how's your going? How's your night going, man?
Hey, it's going good. Got a little venting later, but I want to get to our topic. But yeah, just get off of work, ready to talk to you guys.
All right. Well, I do have something to start with tonight. I got a couple of things to announce that we have all kind of announced them today on the network, but just so everyone knows, Coast to Coast Entertainment has recently signed some contracts. We will have the Oregon Cougars, of course, near and dear to our heart, our first team ever.
Yep.
Will definitely their season starts 1 month and 12 days from today, so we'll have that going on. Then after them, we have the South Lane Buzzards, which are a men's semi-pro team, and we'll have their season. And recently signed, less than 20, well, about 24 hours ago, the Eugene Cornhole League will be live on Coast to Coast as well. Now they won't be as consistent; they will be hit here and there, maybe once a month. We'll look at some live, but he did tell me today. They did tell me today that the big date to remember for them is actually about a year from now, um, August 8th, 2024. Um,
Oh wow!
Oh,
the the Pacific Northwest. So it's what Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Utah. I believe all of those states are going to have the Northwest Cornhole Championships here in Eugene, Oregon, at the Lane Event Center,
Oh
and we're
nice.
gonna be we're gonna be there live to bring that to you. We're gonna have the entire tournament. It's gonna be a big to do. So we will have that for you. Like I said, that's about a year out, and we'll talk about it some more before it comes. But that is looking good. And if you want Coast to Coast Entertainment to cover your event, don't be afraid to message us here on the network. Get a hold of any of us. We'll get you to the right person, and we'll
yep.
make that happen.
In
Um,
that state, I mean, you know, for the
you
most
know,
part.
in that state for the most part. I mean, if you're a Texas person and you wanted something in Texas, get a hold of Chris. We'll get you in touch with Chris. Minnesota, we'll get you in touch with Brandon. We got New York, we got Washington, we got Oregon. Help me out. We got Christie's in Montana, right? Like, I mean, we
Yep.
Yeah,
have
we're
people
spread
who
out.
we're
We're
spread
all
out. We
over.
can
Coast
definitely
to
Yeah,
coast.
cover.
Hey, even if
there
you're
you
in
go.
Italy, get a hold of Tim Hendricks.
And Italy, that one always slips my mind. I don't know why, but that one always slips my mind. So Tim's
That's
over in
okay.
Italy, and he can get you going too. All right. Without further ado, let's start the show tonight. Let's start off with Chris brought up something. He was asking us some stuff about Tony Gwynn before the show, and I'm always down for
Yeah.
talking about
Oh,
Tony Gwynn.
Tony
Um,
Graham. What's he asking?
Did he play with any Hall of Famers, or was that Barry Bonds? I can't remember. They said it on
Gwen,
local radio.
Gwen played with Smith for a little bit, I believe,
that's what I thought.
Okay.
and Fred McGriff possibly.
Mm,
I do believe he played with Fred McGriff because Gwen was a San Diego Padre from day one. So
Yep, for his entire life.
Smith
okay.
Smith might be a question on that. I don't know when he moved to St. Louis, but Fred McGriff was there. Um,
I thought
uh,
I know Ken Caminiti was there for a while, but I don't know if Ken Caminiti's in the Hall of Fame.
uh, no, I think I don't think he is. But I mean, he's one of the guys that should be. Uh, Finley might have crossed paths with
That's the other one I brought up was Finley.
Finley might have crossed paths with him early on, probably when he was in the minors, maybe 1 year in baseball. True.
But Chris brought up a good point because it actually is intriguing to know. Like, if you went back and looked season by season, if he actually did play with a true Hall of Famer in his career, and I think McGriff might be the only one. and that would have been not until this year because McGriff just got voted in.
Yeah, just got in. Yeah, because San Diego, I know we're gonna miss somebody. I know Hoffman's in, but I don't think he ever played with. I think Gwynn was gone before Hoffman got there. Yeah, we would have to do some research. Maybe we'll have that for Monday's show or next Friday's show when Chris is on, or maybe we'll even cover it next week on on deck to find out for sure.
Yeah. So what I wanted to
good question, Chris. That was a great question.
Great question.
19 drop in.
Yeah, 19 facts about the wonderful career of Tony Gwynn. So there's some stuff that I definitely wanted to. The one we all know is that he did hit 394 in the 1994 season, the closest anyone's come to hit 400 since Ted Williams.
Was that the shortened season too, or the strike season?
It was.
Okay.
Was cut short by the strike. Could Gwynn have reached 400? It's pure speculation at this point, but he was hitting. So when they called the strike, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, my fans on. What's up, Chardell? President of the Big B Club. I'm going to announce him. He got promoted.
Okay. So he was hitting in the first half of the season. He hit 334. Okay.
Okay.
And they went to the All-Star break. They came back. The second half, before they called the strike, he was hitting 453 in the second half. So that.
Oh yeah, I if he would not have hit 400, he would have hit 399.
Yeah. Let's see. The only Gwynn struck out 3 times in a game, only 1 time in his entire career.
God.
And that was against Bob Welch.
Wow, that's a good trivia question.
Yeah.
And how many people are going to strike out on opening day 3 times?
Well, I'm getting to that. I'll get to that one next. I'll get to that here in a minute. Including the postseason play, Gwynn faced 18 Hall of Fame pitchers and had a total of 541 plate appearances in such appearances. That's a full season's worth of plate appearances exclusively against Hall of Famers. Okay, so basically 1 whole season where he faced Hall of Famers. Okay. Following me so far?
Yep.
In that season worth of plate appearances, he hit 331 with an on-base percentage of 371 and a slugging percentage of 426.
Jeez.
Against 18 Hall of Fame pitchers. That's insane.
Now
here's where I'm getting to. You asked how many people strike out 3 times on opening day. I don't have that number, but I do have this one. In his entire 20-year career, Gwynn struck out 434 times.
Okay.
That's an average of 21.7 strikeouts per season in his career.
Jeez.
Last season, 129 players had struck out 22 times by the end of April.
God.
That's insane.
And this is why we're starting to consider as a group Tony Gwynn a better hitter than Pete Rose in our eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. So here is to give you more of okay. So Tony Gwynn finished his batting career with a batting average of 302 when he had 2 strikes on him.
Nice.
That's easily the best mark for any player since numbers were first tracked by count in the mid-'70s. By comparison, Wade Boggs comes in second all time, and his average was 262.
Wow.
40 points higher than the second guy in second place.
Wow. That kind of shocked me a little bit because, I mean, we all know, if you're a baseball guy, Crew was a pretty good hitter, Puckett, Boggs definitely was. That kind of shocks me. I thought George Brett was pretty good at clutch hitting. I know there's some other guys that are just, but yeah, that kind of shocked me. That's what, a 40-point difference almost?
40-point difference, yeah.
Wow.
6 times in Padres history has a player recorded 200 hits in a season. Tony Gwynn did it 5 of those times.
Jeez.
On 45 occasions, Gwynn recorded 4 hits in a game. That's 11 more times than he struck out twice in a game.
Wow.
Think about that. He had 11 more games where he had 4 hits than he did 2 strikeouts. Here's one that's going to blow your mind. This one is the one that pushed it over the edge for me of being the greatest hitter ever. We all talk about Greg Maddux and how Greg Maddux is probably one of the best pitchers of all time, correct? None of us are disagreeing with that? Okay. Gwynn faced Greg Maddux 107 times in his career. Way more than any other pitcher. In those 107 career plate appearances, he hit .415 against Greg Maddux.
Oh, wow.
Big B was there. I think that.
No, I'm here.
Are you there? Yeah.
What's up?
Did you hear the Greg Maddux stat?
Yep.
415 he hit against Greg Maddux.
We brought that one up before because there was this. I remember there was a meme that there was 5 Hall of Fame pitchers. Maddux was one of them. I think Pedro, Randy Johnson. I'm trying to think. I think it was like Kurt Schilling or something.
It's funny that you bring that up because he batted. He batted against. They have a list of 38 Hall of Fame pitchers from the 90s that he batted against. Okay. Of those, including Tom Glavine, Nolan Ryan, John Smoltz, Earl Hershiser, Pedro Martinez, and Randy Johnson are the ones that they mentioned.
Okay.
His lowest batting average career against those guys was .303.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do they give individual stats on each pitcher?
I could look them up, but they did not.
Okay.
So Gwynn's .338 career batting average, 338. Okay. Is the highest in the expansion era, and it isn't even close. As Gwynn.
Okay. Are they talking expansion like with the Marlins and them, or are they talking like.
So 1960 is what
1960.
So since 1960, it's not even close. The guy closest to him.
Give me the batting average.
338.
Oh, 338. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was going to be lower, but I'm trying to think who batted 300 for their career in that span. I'm going to have to go to the home. I'm not going to Puckett, but I'll have to go with like Rod Carew or Tony Oliva or somebody.
It actually, Wade Boggs is in second place.
Wow.
And Wade Boggs hit .319. Almost 20 points lower, and he's second place in that time.
Wow.
Couple more. Okay, so here's 2 more we'll do. Gwynn owns all-time Padres records for batting average, runs, hits, total bases, triples, doubles, RBIs, walks, stolen bases, and games played. He played 20 years, right?
Okay.
So if you took his 20-year career, split it exactly in half, 10 years on one side, 10 years on the other side, and you split into 2 careers, he would rank number 1 and number 2 in franchise history in runs, hits, total bases, doubles, triples, and games played.
Wow.
So,
wow.
how good was Tony Gwynn? That's
Well, what's that stat you always throw out every once in a while? Tony Gwynn can bat 0 for whatever
1,155
consecutive at bats and still bat over 300.
and still have a 300 career batting average.
That just
insane.
right there is ridiculous.
All right. So we went off about Tony Gwynn. You got a little bit of therapy, you said tonight.
Yes.
Before you go off on that, I
Okay.
actually have something for the ladies because we do a lot of guy stuff in the show. So
Yeah.
this one made my wife laugh. So you know that this one's funny. Okay.
Okay, so we'll borrow some of our time to lend to the women. Okay.
So it goes. If you find yourself in a fight with your old lady, your best move is to start taking your clothes off. Because when that happens, she will suddenly have a headache and want you to leave her alone for the rest of the night.
I'm glad you finished it that way because I was going to say something different. That's not going to work for me. She'll still bitch.
No,
That's
but
a
you
good
know
one.
that's true. You know that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. What you got for us, Big B?
Why, and this is why I was kind of running a little behind today. Why can a vending machine not take a crumpled up dollar bill or one that has a big crease in it or miss a little corner, but and you got to kind of like smooth it out on the corner edge of the vending
Yeah.
machine or whatever to get it to take. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
But yet, if you go to a coin machine and pop that sucker in there, it'll spit out 4 quarters. So yeah, the frustration is why can't a vending machine just take a dollar bill that's kind of wrinkled?
I've always wondered that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have
Oh,
I don't have
God,
a good
it's
answer
just-
for you on that
yeah.
one. I don't know. It's frustrating
Well,
for sure.
I mean, I get it. You know, they got technology to make sure it's not fake or whatever. I get that. Okay, fine. But it just upsets me when you go to another machine or even another vending machine and pop the dollar and it takes it in that one. It's just like, oh, you just want to drive me crazy today.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Speaking of driving you crazy, you know who else is really good at driving you crazy?
Charnel?
No.
I'm just kidding, buddy. If you're still watching.
Yeah, no. Women are pretty good at driving men crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't. Have you ever been in that situation where you really are trying, like Big B, you're trying. Okay, she's telling you the story, and you're trying with all of your being to listen because you're like, man, I want to care about this. I want to. Friggin' jet bridge fell. Oh God. Not, okay, Isaiah. Anyway. And you're trying to listen. I mean, Big B, go with me on this story. Like you're trying to listen and you want to care, and you're like, I care about what you're saying. And so they start the story something like, well, I was supposed to go to lunch with with Jamie, and Jamie showed up with Susan, and she knows that I can't stand Susan, and I don't really know why she would bring Susan. And Susan's been going to the gym, so Susan looks really good, but I look like shit lately, and I don't, I just don't look at Susan's gonna have, and you're just looking at him, and you're like, yeah.
Yep.
And what you're thinking in your mind is, damn it, why did I take Atlanta plus 28? That doesn't make any sense. And then you hear their voice, wah, 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 and then you hear, huh? Yeah, is that what you think? And you're like, oh shit, that was a question. And you can't say yes because you don't know what the question was. You can't say no because you don't know what the question was. So you just kind of roll the dice, and you're like,
And you can't say, well, let me think about it for a little bit because again, you don't know what the question was.
And
Right.
you can't go. Well, can you repeat that? I didn't quite get it. What was that?
yeah, at least you know that, Chris. Don't ever say that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And but so you kind of roll the, I don't know about you, but sometimes I just roll the dice and I'm like, well, sometimes life's just that way. It kind of is what it is. So,
Yeah, you got to give it.
did you even hear what I said?
Yeah, you got to give that vanilla answer. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So let's see what Isaiah had to say. He said, I hit a plane with that freaking jet bridge, fellas, caused a 15-minute delay.
Okay.
So Isaiah, it still baffles the shit out of me on how they let you be around airplanes. I really don't get it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't get it to this day. I still don't understand.
Things to make you go,
Because I will
As
tell
the old
you,
song says.
oh, I know. Being in my 9 to 5 now, and the fact that I'm in the insurance game, like if you came to me with your company and you said this was the person that's representing your company and they're going to be working around planes, I would tell you there is no way in hell I'm selling you this insurance policy. No, not happening.
Yeah, no kidding.
Nope.
Yeah, not happening. Well, fellas, there's a lot going on. We have a lot of stuff in the NFL going on.
Oh yeah, there's huge.
The World Baseball Classic is going on. Of course, you got the NBA and the big announcement from the NBA that I don't want to talk about. Of course, I only talk about it when it is my team. But Greg Popovich had announced today that this will be his final season in the NBA.
Oh, he did?
And he is retiring at the end of the season.
I didn't hear that.
Me either.
Nice.
And it's time. It's time for him to ride off into the sunset. I mean, he's the winningest coach in NBA history now. 5 championships. We're in a
Got nothing to
rebuild.
prove.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
got nothing to
done
prove. We're in a rebuild now. I mean, when our
Does he
friggin'
got
best-
one gold medal?
I think, he got
I
two,
think he's
maybe.
got 2.
Does he got 2? Okay, I can't remember if he's coached more than once, but
Yeah, I think he's got 2. And I mean, he coached some of the greatest players in NBA history, not just with San Antonio, but with the Olympic team. And so, what does he have left to prove? Nothing. I mean, he's done everything you can do as a coach. So,
right now, who
Yeah.
could you see replacing him?
honestly, I think we're going to hire Tim Duncan as our next coach. I think that's where we're going.
Really?
Yeah, I think Duncan's going to be
Wow.
the next coach. I mean, San Antonio's in a rebuild. We are still better than the Pistons, though. We are still 2 full games better than the Pistons, by the way. And believe me, I'm letting Ace know all about that every day.
Oh, I bet. And Becky Hammond, she
Las Vegas.
left what,
Aces.
2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Too bad she didn't hang out.
Yeah, I know.
I think she wanted to, but she's like, my time's running out here. If I stay here too long, I may not get an opportunity or may run out.
Well, and to be honest, I saw the writing on the wall last year with Popovich when it's in the middle. They still have a chance to get the 10 seed and get into the play-in game. And right in the middle of that run, he says, I'm taking a few days off, and he goes to the Hall of Fame induction of Tim Duncan. I mean, that me kind of told me he's still coaching, but his heart's not in it because all of the guys that he had are gone.
yeah.
Yeah, but again, I mean, yeah, the writing was on the wall with that move, but how do you not go and support one of your main guys? I mean,
No, I absolutely think he made
even if he was nowhere near retirement, but I mean, how do you not go and support the main guy that helped you build, along with Dennis Rodman, David Robinson, on
Well, think
that
about
team.
Well, no, you think about that. So 99 to 2014, 15 seasons, the Spurs won 5 of those championships. I mean,
Oh.
in 15 years, the main guys, you had David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, all those guys are Hall of Famers. Okay, 4 Hall of Famers right there that you coached on that team. Kawhi Leonard was there for one of the championships. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Look at the guys that he's coached. Like it's
in either squad, San Antonio or USA.
Exactly. And then the other coaching stuff that I want to announce actually comes to us from the world of college basketball. And whether you watch college basketball or not, within the last 2 seasons, we've had the retirements of Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, and now Jim Boeheim. And do you know what's synonymous with those 3 guys, by the way?
They're former NBA players?
No, everybody wanted to play for them.
Not Roy Williams, I should say, but
I don't know. What's up?
Those 3 guys rank number 1, number 2, and number 3 all time in wins in college basketball history as coaches.
Wow.
We lost the top 3 coaches in college basketball. Isaiah, I'm not talking about that report. I get inside stuff from the actual San Antonio site. So, yeah, I would be able to tell that it was a fake report if the place was called Ballsack Sports. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, so number 1, number 2, and number 3 all time in college basketball wins in men's history with those 3 guys, and now they're gone. And so,
that's what Patrick Ewing, just in case anybody cares.
No one gives a shit.
Maybe that's where my brain was at. Basketball player.
Just so you know, Bobby Knight is 4th all time, so that tells you how close anyone else is to the top. Bill Self might get there in Kansas. John Calipari in Kentucky might get there at some point, but those are really like the staple guys. There's not really anyone left that's been around for a long time.
And you mentioned
it'd be interesting to look from day one to when they retired, those rosters on how many NBA players they coached and how many of those NBA players became Hall of Famers. Because,
well, you know what the
list they got to be huge.
Oh, well, if you look at those 3 guys and you combine their stuff, over 3,000 wins total for those 3 coaches. 9 championships. 9 championships. That's insane to think about.
That is. I would have thought it would have been more between those 3, but
yeah.
But still, 9 championships. Well, you take Boeheim only won 1, which is kind of crazy to think about. As long as he was at Syracuse, he only won.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would have swore it would have been more double digits at least.
Yeah, but 9. Krzyzewski won 5. Williams won 3, and then Boeheim won 1. So, but yeah, 3 longest tenured guys. Did you just say something about Juwan Howard, Isaiah? Juwan Howard will be in that tier next. Oh my Lord! The hell is
Juwan Howard will not come even close to 1,000 career wins.
No,
I will say right now. I'll say right now, Juwan Howard probably would have come close to 500 career wins.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'd have to look it up to see who's next on the list, but in college basketball, you might have a Rick Pitino, but he's not there anymore. He would have been a guy higher.
And he in Louisville?
Not anymore. He retired 3 years ago, maybe. He resigned.
Yeah, I thought he was coaching.
Bill Self. I mentioned Bill Self already, Isaiah. I don't know where you've been if you're not watching. Bill Self was a guy I said could get there, and John Calipari. Those are really the only 2 guys I could see going there. I'm sure you're going to come up with some off-the-wall name from some school that no one's ever heard of. So, Anyway,
Well, it's funny
lots
how he
of stuff-
brought up Juwan Howard. I actually thought Juwan Howard was not coaching Michigan anymore. That's how much I forgot about him being the coach of Michigan.
yeah.
I think Greg Bertino's.
Yeah, there it is. Aaron Gamo
Who?
from Hawaii. Why do we even do this anymore? I mean, Jesus Christ. And you know that he's not making that up. Like, he legitimately will think that in his brain that's the next great coach in college basketball. Anyway,
Let's go to
Big B,
NBA.
Big B, what's going on in the NFL? What's going on for the Minnesota Vikings?
They're cutting everybody. I mean, Jesus. Yeah. It's not, honestly, it's not even a dumpster fire. A lot of it is they want to keep their guys, but they don't want to renegotiate. Thielen, gone. Cham Dantzler, gone. Rumor is the next one's possibly going to be Harrison Smith. And then I know a couple guys have asked for their trade. There's been some offers or call-ins about Dalvin Cook. Depending on what rumor site you listen to or even the radio, San Fran's called to inquire about Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, it's going to look the North between the Packers and the Vikings are going to look totally different next year, possibly. So, we'll see what happens.
And didn't you, staying in the North, didn't you say that Rodgers is reportedly rumored to announce his big decision?
So I was watching one of the four-letter networks shows. They were talking about Rodgers and saying that, according to their sources, Jets and Packers both have an agreement on everything. They just need Rodgers to say yes or no. And somebody brought up that last year Rodgers made his big announcement of coming back on Selection Sunday, so he would put money on it that it's going to happen on Selection Sunday again.
Well, of course it is. Anyone who is that conceited and has to have the spotlight on them for everything. You know what I find funny, I've brought this up not just to you guys, but to other people. I find it hilarious that Rodgers hated Favre when he came to Green Bay. They did not get along. Okay.
Right.
I don't think Rodgers hated Favre. I just think he hated.
Oh, there's hate.
Favre did not want to be his mentor. He didn't want nothing from.
I get it. But where are we? Where are we 17 years later? We're in the exact same place we were 17 years ago.
And what's going to happen? The same thing.
He's going to the same team in the same situation.
Who knows?
It's
he might join
crazy
Minnesota.
to me to think that that's where we're going.
Well, if this okay, all right. If history repeats itself, I say Rodgers ends up in Chicago.
And I will tell you this. I will tell you. Green Bay forgave Favre for going to Minnesota. Okay.
Well, they were going to.
They were going to. They welcomed him back with open arms.
Yep.
Rodgers goes to a division rival in the NFC North. Green Bay will never forgive him. They will not welcome him back. There's a reason for that. It's because it's two different people. Favre saved the city of Green Bay. He saved football in Green Bay. They were horrible for years before he got there.
Yep.
He brought them a Super Bowl for the first time in 30 years. Like, the guy was a god in Green Bay. Rodgers took over, played a very high caliber level, only won one Super Bowl, never got back to a second one. And he just doesn't have the same relationship that Favre had with the city.
Did Favre win multi-MVPs in a row? I mean, and like I said,
97, 98,
yeah. And like I said, when Favre came here, a lot of Packer fans, like you said, were just bashing Favre for coming here. I'm like, guys, Favre could play here for 5 years, win 1 or 2 Super Bowls, an MVP, retire, and he will still retire as a Green Bay Packer. You guys will love him. Oh, no, I'll never love him again. He traded. And what did the city do? Like you said, everybody forgave Favre, welcome back. He's the Packer, whatever you want to call him.
He's Packer royalty. If you
Yeah,
will.
royalty. Exactly. Rodgers, on the other hand, I say if that happens, if he goes to Green Bay, or if Rodgers goes from Jets, if it's true, going to the Jets to Chicago, there's no way they forgive him. If he goes to the Lions or Packers, there's possibly they'd welcome him back because he will go into the Hall of Fame as a Packer.
All right. I don't really want to read this, but I swear if the 49ers sign Taylor Rapp, the safety from the Rams, first off, who? He will be what Steph Curry is to the Warriors and Rick. Oh, my God. It gets worse. And Ricky Henderson and Mark McGuire was to the A's and what Tim Lincecum and Barry Bonds was to the Giants. Okay. Whatever. Chris, you just sit and laugh because you just think it's hilarious.
I did it.
I mean, one, it's not like he's going to revamp 49ers defense. 49ers have a legit defense right now.
They do.
So to make that comparison is ludicrous. And I'm not talking about the rapper, but it's just ridiculous. I mean,
let's
yeah.
I actually told Chris, I made Chris think about this the whole show. I know he's been waiting for me to reveal the answer. So before the show, I asked him, name a phrase from anyone born after the year 2000. So Isaiah, this one's for you. Born after the year 2000 would have never heard in their lifetime. A phrase.
Or after 2000, okay.
That they've never heard in their lifetime.
I would have to say, because I know I heard it tons, but I don't think I've heard it anything more. Were you born in a barn when you come in and leave the front door open? I don't think neither one of those. You have? Okay. Oh.
Well, here's the answer.
All right.
And with that final score, the Cowboys are headed to the Super Bowl.
God, you could say that for both of our teams because the Vikings haven't been there since '77. So you could have said something from or after the or in the '80s to now. What you would have heard.
It's just hilarious to me that I heard that somewhere, and that was hilarious. It was just
that's about the same time Oakland hasn't been to the World Series either. I think the A's I'm talking about.
Yeah, the A's have sucked.
One of Isaiah's 600 teams that he roots for.
Right. Yeah, one of them. We'll see what the next one's going to be. Apparently, it's Hawaii now.
No, he's always had a heart. He had a heart for Hawaii. I'll give him that. But yeah, as long as it's not teams that we kind of root for.
Yeah, we always tell them please don't do that. All right, guys. Well, Selection Sunday's this Sunday. You guys got your brackets in yet?
Not yet. I don't think they're out. I mean, they'll come out.
They're not out, but I always do like a pre-bracket just to see how many teams I get right that get in.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Then once they come out, I'll do my bracket. Is anyone going to enter Warren Buffett's bracket this year?
We'll have to look at someone will have to send me the link, but I normally jump in on a couple of those celebrity brackets.
I mean, Warren Buffett puts one out every year, and I looked up the odds on this, by the way, because you guys know I like doing that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So Warren Buffett puts out a bracket and says if you get every game right from the first four to the championship game, every single game correct in the entire bracket, he will give you $1 million. You'll win $1 million.
That's hard to pick every game.
Well, hold on. For everyone that's curious, by the way, you are 20 times more likely to win the Powerball. than you are
Ah.
to get every single game correct in the bracket.
Where they're
So,
playing the Powerball.
Why do you think he gives out $1 million? Because it's never going to happen.
I think once it did. I think.
No.
No, someone got to like the Elite Eight and then or Sweet 16. They got pretty far. They got further than anyone ever had gotten, but no one's ever gotten every game.
So someone will always claim on social media that, oh, I picked all these brackets right, but I didn't turn it in. You know, I should have turned this bracket in. There's always going to be some clown that says that. You know,
I will tell you, in all honesty, there was one year, and I will say that year I didn't get close to getting every game correct, but there was one year. It was the last year that UConn, which is my college basketball team, if no one knew, and my college football team, the UConn actually won the championship as a 7 seed. And
was that with Alameen and Hamilton?
Nope, the one when they were 7 seed would have been with he played for Charlotte. Oh man, why can't I think of his name right now? He just went off in the Big East tournament, got him all the way through. His name's slipping my mind. Anyway, I picked them as a 7 seed to win the whole thing, and I was only one of like 3.6% of people in America that picked the correct champion that year. So that's as close as I've ever gotten to saying that I did something amazing in a bracket, but I still didn't come close to every game.
No, I think the closest I would say that I've even come is 1 year. I remember I got like in the first round alone, I think I got one wrong, and then after that, my bracket blew up, you know, in some areas. But
I do good for like the first 2 games, and then it just goes haywire.
Yeah, for the first round, I typically will rock, you know. But outside of that, yeah, after that, it's a crapshoot. I mean, because I don't even think would have time to even figure out every single scenario.
No, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way you can. Anyway,
I mean, because they say, yeah, because they say what every year there's always a 5 or not 5-7. What is it? I'm trying to think of the bracket in my head right now.
10-7.
10-7 is always a tough one. That's always flip flop.
11-6 is always a big one, and 12-5 is always a big one.
12-5. Yep. Those are always tough ones. I mean, granted, everybody's going to pick, you know, the number 1 seeds to win. I mean, unless you want to try to be the second team to, you know, upset a 16 seed, but everybody's going to pick the 16 seeds. I mean, but yeah, after it's a crapshoot. If somebody does it, hey, more power to them.
Yes, and if someone does it, we will hire them tomorrow as the college basketball analyst on our network, because if they get it right, we will give them a job in a heartbeat.
God, they're going to be all over ESPN, Fox, CNN.
No, that's why we're signing them first.
There you go, Chris.
There you go.
You know, it would be somebody like Isaiah that throws out, you know, weird teams, and he'd be the first one to go all the way.
Why do you got to say things like that?
Because that's how it would be. You know, that's what it would be like.
It would probably, yeah.
So yeah, Isaiah's one. Do you know who the other one would end up being?
Dragon Viper?
Yeah, someone like Dragon Viper that doesn't ever watch anything, and we're just like, here, fill this out, and he fills it out, and then he wins.
And that's the thing. You always hear everybody's office does a poll, you know, get in my bracket, and who's the one that wins it? Somebody that doesn't know basketball or a female.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Absolutely. Always happens.
So where's Besser on? I was hoping to get to talk to him about the Bears' big move.
I know.
Yeah,
the Bears trading away the number 1 pick. They, by the way, they got a lot in return for that.
Yeah.
a lot.
I think they could have got more. They wanted the Colts and stuff to play in. I'm surprised the Raiders. Well, Raiders don't have nobody to trade, but they got a good haul. There's no doubt about it, and that was the right move for the Bears because there was nobody that was going to make their team better. They had to go for assets.
I get it, but still, who's going to throw him the ball? I'm just curious.
Well, again,
more now.
well, you get receivers in there. I mean, that can catch the ball. I mean, yes, Fields still has to prove that. I mean, Fields is a Lamar Jackson 2.0. All he can do is run and throw little short passes right now. So let's give him some name receivers and see what happens. Give him an offensive line to where he doesn't have to panic all the time.
So, two questions for each of you. Get your thoughts on each one. Is Rodgers going to New York? Is the first question.
No. I think he's staying in Green Bay.
Green Bay doesn't want.
I know they don't, but I think he's going to finish out in Green Bay.
And the second question would be, what percentage chance do you give it that Tom Brady returns before the season starts?
Honestly, between listen, Rodgers, where's he going? And Tom Brady now popping back up, is he going to play again? I'm so tired of it. I really hope it's a 0% chance.
I'm going to say 10%.
There's some people out there saying it's as much as 50. I'm going to tell you, though.
I mean, money talks. Don't get me wrong. Money talks.
Money talks. But I've watched football my whole life. I mean, as long as I can remember. Okay. And I've watched Brady play for 23 years now, something like that.
Okay.
I have never seen the look in his eyes that I saw after that Dallas game in the playoffs.
Well, even all season, what's the last time?
I honestly think he knew he was done that day. Like, he knew he wasn't going to play again. That's just my personal feeling. I didn't see that last year. Last year, I still thought there was a chance he could come back because Stafford beat him in the last few seconds, and it took everything for the Rams to beat him. But they got decimated by the Cowboys this year, and they weren't good in the regular season. Everything was falling apart. He didn't have his usual players. I just think it was Brady. He knew it was over after that game.
And the thing is, how many times on the sideline this year did we see him blow up at his teammates, throw down, iPads, stuff like that, his helmet? I mean, how many times before that have we seen that? None. I mean, this year was frustrating. I mean, again, okay, if let's say Sean Payton calls you. I mean, I know he has Russell Wilson, but I mean, if there was an iconic coach that calls and say, hey, you want to come back for one run and we got a team that's set up, we just need you to guide them, I can see that. I know a lot of people are linking them to Miami, going back to New England. I really hope he's just done. I mean, and it's not that I don't like Brady because, again, look at what he's done. Again, you can split up his season in two different 10-year frames, and he's put up great numbers. I mean, nobody can argue that. So I just, like you said, J-Mac, just what we saw on the field last year, I think he knew he was done after the Dallas game. And then, again, he released that post video saying that he's done. He's going to make it short and sweet. So now for a second year, you're going to come back and lie about you retiring. So
yeah, because then on this podcast, he's like, "Well, I could return." I mean,
no, and I think, and he put the paperwork in this year. That's something he didn't even do last year. Like he actually filed the paperwork to say, I am on the retired list. I'm not coming back. I want to step away. And then he put out that post about anyone who thinks I'm coming back to the NFL obviously has never adopted a 2-month-old cat for their daughter. Like, everyone's saying he has
that kind of threw me off.
I just think his point of it was, I have so much else going on in my life right
I
now
have-
that I
yeah.
really football's not on my mind.
Well, the biggest thing is why everybody's talking about it is because he told, what was it, Fox that he signed the big analyst
Yeah.
deal. He
That
told
he's
him that
gonna
he's going to
wait
take he's going to wait a year. So everybody's like, oh, he's coming back. It's like, let the guy enjoy a year with his family at least. I mean,
And
I
he's
think so, too.
perfecting it. He's trying to perfect it so when he goes in next year,
Well, I mean, the guy
that's
is
another
given
thing.
the guy. I mean, okay, he's 45. He's played in the NFL for 23 years. Literally half of his life he's given to this game.
Yeah.
If he wants to take a year off, let the guy take a year off and leave him alone. Let him go do whatever he wants to do.
I agree.
Maybe he wants a year just away from the spotlight. He wants to just find out who he is as a person without football involved. And can you blame a guy? Can you blame a guy for that? You can't.
Nope. And being the last Montreal Expos to finally retire, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you got to let it go, you know. And if anybody doesn't understand, yes, I know Montreal wasn't a baseball team. The last pick that Montreal made was Tom Brady, or one of the last picks, and he's finally retired, and Montreal's not a team no more.
Speaking of that,
So nobody thinks I'm off my whacker.
No one thinks you're off your rocker. I do think that I'm going to make a guest appearance on Deck this year, and
Nice.
I think that my segment is going to be on how the Expos team of 1994 is the greatest team that never was, because they had. I couldn't even name all the players they had that year on that team. Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson. I mean, it was. If that season does not end in strike, they win the World Series. I am.
Did they have Vlad? Yeah,
Vlad
they had
Guerrero,
him, and they had Walker, I think.
Larry Walker. The list goes on.
Oh yeah,
Don,
yeah.
Dante
You should let us. Yeah, I was going to say Bichette. You should let us know, and we can do some research and definitely have a memorable show.
Before he went to Texas, the catcher before he went to Texas, what was his name?
You talking about Pudge?
Yeah.
Pudge was an Expo? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was there in '94. They had a team.
Oh, they did. A lot of people are saying that was the team that was going to take. And I think at that time they were like MLB best in the record. I think
they were head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah. That kind of sucks that that team is no longer there, and I kind of wish Montreal gets another team back.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will at some point. I don't know when, but
take the Rangers.
Yeah.
No, Oakland should move there.
No, Oakland's going to Vegas. We all know that.
I think that too. I think they're going to Vegas too. For sure. All right, let's get some final thoughts, guys. Chris, what you got for us tonight?
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. You know, a lot of great things coming to Coast, and come join us for the ride.
Big B.
Yep, we've already talked about it. Catch us, for all our shows on Deck. Season premiere 2023 season next Saturday, March 18th. Myself and Crispy Bacon has been confirmed. We do have a new host. Tim Hendricks is going to join us this year. So we got 3 guys. And then J-Max already, put his name in the hat to guest appear once in a while. So it's going to be a great season all around, and just keep checking out Coast to Coast as we broke in some breaking news. We got another football team we're watching. We got the Cornhole League going. And, let's not forget about the Cougars season starting. So it's going to be fun times.
Fun times. And for Crispy Bacon and Double Dirty Big B, this is J-Mac. Could not do this without you. You are the reason we do this. Keep it going. Remember that this is all for you. Watch us, listen to us, get your podcasts wherever you get all those. Four Bros Radio Show, the longest running show on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. Don't forget that. We continue that. We are pushing towards our 200th episode, by the way. I just want to make that little announcement there. We did miss a couple here and there, but if we stay on track and have at least one show a week, we will hit our 200th episode sometime in May. We'll let you know as that gets closer. So we're definitely excited for that. But don't forget to check us out. Thanks for watching and listening. Lifelong dreams being lived in front of your very eyes, and we will see you all on the other side.